You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, welcome to another, useful show of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
My name is Rob. Hopefully you're going to get some information today that will guide you, perhaps if you're kind of contemplating the direction that you'd like to go with your enjoyment of drones and maybe earning some money while enjoying those drones. And look forward to talking about this. Thankful that you are spending a few minutes of your day with us. Appreciate it every single time.
Definitely do appreciate it. It also, in this changing economy, changing market, it shows how pilots have to rely on relationships, number one, but number two, be adaptable and flexible in an effort to be able to switch track when necessary to ensure they keep getting jobs. So before we get into today's show, which is really about current update on drone job opportunities, I do want to say a lot of these opportunities do require you to be able to complete multiple types of deliverables, things like orthomosaics, which you would get from autonomous missions, mapping missions, but also, smooth video and also, great photos. But in taking that to another step further, I really recommend that you check out our video on how to be a successful drone pilot, because the amount of opportunities with Cinewhoop and fly-through videos is frankly off the charts right now. So why don't we go ahead and play that question, and we're going to get into some really good information today. Thank you again for joining us, and today's question is brought to you by our props program. Look, we could have just called it Drone U Enterprise, but instead we wanted to create an educational platform that would create professional, reliable operators practicing safety. We are the only education platform that was built to service multiple pilots from any singular drone team or program and provide insights to managers to ensure that pilots have caught the bug, make sure that they are field ready versus just current, and be able to deploy operational systems across a variety of trainings to create systems of operations, communications, and administration to ensure your drone program's success. If you are ready to get the most in-depth chronological training program for your drone team or program, you've got to check out the Props Flight School, powered by Drone U. Just go to propsflightschool.com.
Hi, Rob. Hi, Paul. This is Andy. I was wondering, what are the opportunities that exist with drone pilots right now? Thank you.
Hey, Andy. Good to hear from you. Thank you for the question. Really appreciate it. It was great to have you in Colorado a few weeks ago. Nice to meet you face to face. First time for me. I know you'd done some classes with him, but anyways, appreciate the question. And drone opportunities. Yeah, that's, it's interesting. There are a lot of drone opportunities. I think we're starting to hear of more and more companies that are adopting it at a pretty large scale. And that means they need pilots, and they're finding difficulty with, getting those pilots. So where are some of those opportunities, Paul, that we're seeing and hearing about?
Well, it's a really good question, and this question did kind of permeate from Andy's visit out here. Andy, I hope that you had fun. We don't spend typically a lot of time with our members or students outside of classes. So I'm glad that you came out here. I'm glad you had some fun. I appreciate you asking this question as well, because you were around during some of the conversations of what we are working on here and trying to provide. So number one greatest opportunity, in my opinion, looking ahead, I think is going to be this new infrastructure bill that came from Congress. I think it already passed. I'm not sure. But with this infrastructure bill, the need for drone pilots to conduct inspections of roadways, communications, utilities, etc., is going to be greatly driven by the government kind of subsidizing this work to be done. And so when it comes to these types of jobs, we're talking about bridge inspections, road inspections, cell tower inspections. And as the country tries to prepare for a greener, quote unquote, cleaner future, they're trying to create this super grid. So having a lot of detail and information on power lines is going to to be really, really critical for the deployment of this new super grid. So when we talk about these inspections, we're kind of talking about visual inspections, cameras being used with zoom, maybe some thermal stuff, but doubtful. More so, we're going to be seeing lots of implementation of orthomosaics, maps, and inspections as a whole. Things like the M30T does a great job of. Now, those types of jobs might not be recurring revenue-based jobs unless you're working with like a large-scale contractor who's already working on bidding out these opportunities. And now is the time to get in with those contractors so that your work will be bid appropriately and you'll be paid appropriately. So I think that's already opening up the door to a lot more cell tower inspections. We're seeing a lot of cell tower inspections across a multitude of drone jobbing sites. Drone Bros, Skylink. There's a lot that are honestly offering these jobs. And when you think about these jobs, be cognizant of how many of these jobs can you get done in a day. And I would also say if you are looking for these types of drone jobs, it's in your best interest to make sure that you put yourself on as many drone jobbing companies as possible, because you'll find very quickly that different drone jobbing companies pay different rates, and you might be surprised by the delta in rates between one drone jobbing company and another. We're seeing deltas of like $700 difference in a singular job. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. And I would also think of working with different types of companies, like software companies, like people like Optelos, who we know are looking at hiring drone pilots and service providers all the time to get what they need completed. So look outside the box. Don't be afraid. Right now in this holiday time, I think it's in your best interest to make a plan, write out, where you want to put your business as a listing on these drone jobbing companies, working on SEO for your regional or local based company, and then working on relationships as a whole. I would say don't skimp out on touch points, on reaching out to people that you know well, and just, wishing them a happy holiday or sparking that conversation. Because in today's day and age, with such a large amount of division and, a large amount of just kind of riffraff going on, these personal relationships are going to be the driver of your business and are going to be imperative if the market has a significant downturn. So
100%. It makes me think of Dave and John up in upstate New York. And Dave in particular is just a go-getter, right? Mm-hmm. And they are super busy because they have done plenty of jobs through some of the job boards or the job providing services, right? And they've used that as an opportunity to learn new skills and to meet people. And it has really paid off. And I just appreciate Dave's perspective on all of that and how he'll tell you, don't say no to anything. And I wouldn't necessarily give that advice to everybody. I think that Dave can handle that. Yeah. He's a pretty awesome dude. Not that you all aren't awesome. But my point is there's a tremendous amount of opportunity if you get out there and do it. So they've been doing a lot of solar stuff, which Glenn has done as well. They've been doing some inspections. They actually got involved in some of the delivery testing of BVLOS stuff. They've done some wind turbine inspections. They've done a lot of stuff, and they stay busy.
They stay really busy.
So the opportunity is out there. I know that we're hearing from some folks that are looking for pilots in the ag space. And this is a group that wants to actually provide the drone. Hopefully we'll have more information for you on that to come, depending on how it goes with them. But there's opportunities like that. And there's always the traditional DSP opportunities out there. I think there's some, there's still opportunities in real estate. I think the adoption is still out there as sort of low-hanging fruit if you want to get out there and compete in that world.
That actually brings up a really good question, because the real estate market has slowed down significantly. And, as I think about it, the total volume of real estate jobs might be lower, but the depth of those jobs might be higher, meaning that these realtors need more and more to garnish attention for a particular listing.
Yeah, I might actually push back that that the volume is going to be lower for a couple of reasons. One, it's going to be harder to sell something. And so they might have more need for your services. You might be better able to sell your value because they can't just slap the house on the MLS and it sells like that. Although around here, that's still kind of happening. But because I look every day. But anyways, and number two is the number of houses going on the market is going to continue to increase. And it almost has to because it got so low. And that's part of what inventory got so low. And that's, by the way, part of what drove up real estate prices, that and all the money in the system. But I think you're going to see a lot more volume of homes or inventory of homes on the market. So the competition is going to be higher. So as it transitions to a buyer's market, sellers are going to have to do more to sell their house. And so I think for those two reasons, you could actually, perhaps ironically, see more opportunity in the real estate videography space.
Well, and I think an important point too is that if a realtor wants to sell a particular home at a given value, that the perception of said value can honestly be palpable in media, meaning that like a lot of realtors are realizing that they can't just take iPhone pictures of their homes and expect the perception to be high. Right? They've got to get different types of media, et cetera. And this is where I think those fly-through videos have a huge opportunity as well. I mean, we're seeing pilots just murder the game with these fly-through videos. And no offense to certain drone manufacturers, but the people who are doing these jobs, they are not flying the DJI Avata. They are flying true Cinewhoop drones. And their ability to do these one-shot takes like what we did with isotopes is just absolutely incredible. And they're seeing a huge uptick now. So if this goes to show that if you've got the skills to do real estate, but you can also do Cinewhoop, then your price point could literally double compared to the competition. So to Rob's point, it's going to be harder to sell, which might actually be a greater opportunity for you. But here's the thing, pilots, you've got to have that system down so that when you're shooting these homes, it's as fast and efficient as it possibly can be.
Yeah, and I would also, if you're in that space or you want to get into that space and you start to do work there, keep track of the data. I mean, specific data in terms of once, for example, your Cinewhoop video is released by the realtor, how long does it take to sell? And track that data, because the more of that data you have, the more you're going to be able to sell down the road.
Is there a way in MLS to like auto email you once a particular listing sells?
I think yes.
Okay,
there's multiple ways.
You could have like an autonomous trigger that then fills.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can use any of the services, whether it's Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. You can do that on all of them. Like you don't even need the MLS access or help from the realtor. You can get all that done in the regular platforms.
Gotcha. I think the other opportunities that are big, obviously are going to be, we've talked about utilities, cell tower inspections, power line inspections. We've talked a little bit about real estate. In all honesty, I think the other big opportunities are going to be for certain types of jobs that maybe drone pilots haven't thought about. We've talked about solar inspections and how solar inspections and kind of construction progressions are one of the best MRR or monthly recurring revenue jobs that you can go out and get. But I think that there's a couple of untapped markets that I wanted to mention on this show. So as many of you know, we worked with Lucid Drone Technologies. They're out of North Carolina. They created a drone that actually cleans buildings, because to clean any given building, let's say 8 to 12 stories, could be anywhere between $75,000 and $85,000. And with the Lucid C1 cleaning drone, no one needs to go up on the sides of these buildings. Now, that is a great market to tap. I would recommend that if you are able and ready to fly large scale drones, we're talking big drones.
Although they've designed it really well so that it flies nicely.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. They've made it as convenient as possible.
Right.
So if you are looking for that type of industrial work, which I think is only going to increase, then you might want to reach out to Lucid Drone Technologies and see if there are any opportunities available for you. But beyond that, with that Lucid cleaning drone, let's say that if you're already in the solar inspection market, then you could be cleaning solar panels. I did a big deep dive on like what is the actual opportunity, and people are paying anywhere from $18 to $25 per panel to have their solar panels cleaned. I'm talking about residential here. And if you think about it, it's very, very easy to go out and get these jobs because all you have to do is go to the county website, look at everyone who's gotten a permit to install solar panels. You can go to those homes and provide like a little brochure that says, the average solar panels reduce efficiency by X number of percent over X period of time, and we can clean those panels for you and increase efficiency and even provide a report for you so that you see what your efficiency was to start and then what it was after we cleaned it. So now you're charging them to do a solar inspection, to use Raptor maps, and then you charge them to clean it. So that way, it's also a very easy dollarized value sale. I haven't seen anyone do this yet, by the way. This was just something that I saw a huge opportunity here and consulted with a friend to help him understand that value, even talked about it with Lucid. And to clean these solar panels is actually really, really easy. You only need distilled water. It's practically purified water. So, you attach your pump to your drone, fly your drone, clean the panels. It does not take very long. And voila, then you can run another little thermal map with your drone and you can showcase the deviation or delta. And you can literally show your client, this is the dollarized impact that I have had on you. I would even recommend setting up packages to go clean those panels biannually, annually, quarterly, whatever you believe you can sell, which I do think it comes down to your ability to sell on how frequently you're going to go clean those panels. So
yeah, it usually does. So I didn't know about, it makes sense. I'm just really, really curious on the efficiency delta between dirty and clean.
Well, think about it.
I'm just curious.
What I read was something that like within a year or two, especially in high desert areas where you have a lot of dust
and then rain. And look at your car after you clean it and then there's one little rainstorm.
Yeah. And,
Right?
and that's a perfect example, So if there's anything inhibiting the sun from getting to these panels to convert into energy, or as Trent likes to put it, what does he call it? Fossilized, or I forget what he says. The term is like fossilized carbon or something like that. Anyway, long story short is it can get bad quickly.
Yeah.
So, and if they're not running at full efficiency, they're going to see it in their power bill. And with Raptor Maps, you can literally measure that out and say, hey, this is how much you're losing every single month. This is what it's costing you. This is what it cost me to clean them and to do this. In 8 months' time or 6 months' time or 4 months' time, you've already paid for 20% of their energy output.
That's just a quick Google. Solar Energy Power Association notes that dirty solar panels can lose 20% of their energy output.
Yeah, that's significant.
It could even be 25%. You add that up over a year, that's substantial.
Significant. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to create that formula for that dollarized value to sell to a client.
So I wonder, like the whole Tesla grid and solar stuff that they're doing, they must have people out there doing this and cleaning them. That's significant.
Actually, no.
No?
So, well, I know we trained a lot of the Tesla pilots for that exact reason, or not for cleaning, but for inspections. And honestly, I'm not seeing this really a lot. It's the older style of work. And this goes into what Cody Sanchez says all over Instagram. You want to buy boring businesses and then modernize them and automate them. You buy a cleaning company or partner with someone for a cleaning company, and then you go out and do, all these jobs via drone instead of, a person physically doing it. And you can revolutionize that business and the profit margins too. So
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. It makes me think too of when I took Emily out to California, Labor Day weekend, driving out of Vegas to the south. There is a massive, I didn't know that was out there. I'm sure you've seen that. That solar array out there.
And then it has the big tower in the middle and almost looks dystopian kind of.
It totally does. It's really wild. So, I mean, I think, by the way, there's a lot more solar fields out there than we realize because they're always in these obscure places that people don't go generally. But they've got to be clean too, especially out there where there's just nothing but dust.
Yeah.
So really interesting opportunity there.
Yeah, totally interesting. So let's see. We've talked about utilities. We've talked about solar. We've talked about cleaning. Honestly, seeing more and more drone work in the engineering space, in the geospatial space. I mean, I know a lot of people who've been around for a while, these veteran pilots, feel like the industry has matured, and I believe it has matured, but I don't think it's hit its peak, and it's nowhere close.
Yeah.
So,
and so talk a little bit more about the opportunity as you see it in the cell tower inspections, maybe in a little bit more depth. I mean, they are absolutely using drones to do the inspections. The question is, who are they hiring or who are they using to do those inspections?
Well, and we've seen, we've seen it go both ways, where companies are converting their tower inspectors into drone pilots. And we have also seen companies go out and hire drone pilots to do these inspections. I mean, they need
and it could be the same company that does both.
Yeah, we've seen that too.
Yeah.
And, on these cell towers, they are literally looking for which antennas are set up at what azimuth to be able to discern true coverage and bandwidth and create an inventory of what is actually on these towers. We're seeing a couple of companies really create amazing data products too, to essentially turn cell phone towers into like Zillow, where you've got an aggregation of all these towers and you are able to discern what real estate is available on those towers. So I think it's a huge opportunity. Towers pay well, they're simple. And if you ever need help selling yourself, a lot of these tower inspection companies do use automated missions, but they need pilots that can fly these missions when automation doesn't work, which actually happens more frequently than you would believe. So having the right skills, the ability to fly orbits and do all that, fly in close proximity, it's going to have a massive amount of value. And, as these companies also get more specific in their acquisition styles, drones like the M30T with that laser rangefinder make it so much easier to get the right data. Because if they're like, hey, your radius needs to be 65 feet, you don't have to rely on GPS. You turn on the laser rangefinder, pinpoint it at the tower, and now you know exactly how far away you are.
Yeah, very interesting.
But
so some opportunity there for sure.
Huge opportunity there. I think though, in trying to discuss the opportunities, the MRR, I think it's also important to discuss opportunities that might be fading away in the current economic environment. So for example, I've already seen statistics from the National Association of Advertisers that advertising expenditures are down like double digits, like enormous, maybe even like 2 or 3, what is it called? 2 or 3 standard deviations different from normal, which is significant. So if you're doing a lot of small business media for the holidays and whatnot, have a plan for after the holidays, because I think we're going to see this downward regressional trend continue with advertising. And if you're doing a lot of heavy advertising based work, you may run into trouble. And I would like to give you the warning right now so that you can have time to plan and do what you need to. So frankly speaking, there's a lot of opportunity out there. And it really comes down to your ability to create relationships, your ability to have good SEO, and your willingness to call people and talk to them, go to events, and showcase your worth. So all that to be said, I'm very grateful for you guys today. Don't forget to watch that video, how to be a successful drone pilot. And if you're not a Drone U member, we have classes on most of these jobs, construction progression reports, cell tower inspections, and we're actually in the middle right now of updating the cell tower inspections course and adding some additional courses as well. So that said, appreciate all of you, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. Those of you who have been with us for a little while and those of you who have been with us for a very long time, thank you. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and don't forget to keep flying. Gamify your practice, have fun with it, and we look forward to seeing you in the next show. As always, my name is Paul.
My name is Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.